Welcome to the first video of a series of videos. I am doing a Dungeon Command tournament, starting with the goblins versus the orcs. And the winner of these armies are going to face off against the Heart of Cormyr pack, the humans, elves, and dwarves. You can see that one right over here. And the winner of those two will face the drow, and the final victor will face the undead. Here I have my other card piles. Here's the goblins, creatures, and order cards, which have already been shuffled and drawn. Here are my orc creature and order cards that have already been shuffled and drawn, and we'll get to show you that right now. Our first commander is Snig the Axe of the Goblin Army. As you can see, he can deploy creatures during his refresh phase. He has a creature hand of 5. That's these guys up here. The archer, 2 soldiers, a berserker, and a troll. Stupid flash. Heals 10 damage. And regenerate might come in handy. Alright, and let's see, he has an order hand of 4. That's these cards right here. We'll get to those in a second. Each creature, each general has a morale and leadership. The morale is kind of like health. Once it gets to 0, you lose. And leadership is how many level of creatures you can control on a battlefield. Snake starts with 6, so we can only have up to 6 levels. So we could deploy 2 soldiers, a berserker and an archer, the troll and archer, or pretty much. Actually, that's about it. So we'll decide what to deploy here in a second. Now back to the order cards. These are kind of like your special hand. I don't know how to word that. There's 3 type of order cards: minors, standards, and immediates. In our case, we have only minors. Minors you can place. You can continue to place minors as long as you have them, and as long as you meet the requirements. Such as, for example, this Goblin Warcry. A creature, to be able to use this, has to be level 3 or above, and has to have a charisma stat. And as you can see from our creatures, there's a few level 3s and above, but nobody has the charisma stat, so nobody could use that minor. Immediates are ones you can play at any time, even on a enemy's turn, and generally those cards are used to prevent damage rather than deal any. That's kind of what your minors and standards are for. Standard cards use up your actual action, so you could attach a standard card when doing attacking, and often they deal extra damage. So standard cards are good to have too, especially when you need to dish out that extra damage. Alright, come on, focus. Focus. I'm using my phone camera, so I don't have an actual camera, but I'll upgrade eventually. There we go. Okay, and so that was the goblins. So we're going to go ahead and deploy a couple creatures. And I think never an adjacent enemy creatures destroyed, untap this creature. Let's start with him. He's got a fair, decent amount of hit points. Oh yeah, and they also have a little icon, so you can see what creature they are. Like this dude here. And the board has these little dotted lines. This is where your starting areas are. Like over here will be the orcs. Yeah, there's the orc army. Got an ogre, There's an owlbear somewhere. Oh, right here. Look at this dude. This dude's freaking awesome. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. Alright. So we want to deploy him. And then we also... Nah, we can only deploy the archer next, because that'll equal total army level 5. That doesn't go over his leadership of 6, so that's what we'll go with. An archer and a berserker. Let's find the archer dude. Say focus. Focus. Yeah, it's focusing on the background. There we go. Alright, so we're going to put him right next to the berserker dude. Alright. These tokens are treasure. When a creature gets on this token, you flip it over. I'm not going to do it for this one. We'll just say one of these. Right? You'll flip it over, and that number represents how many treasures you'll put on that tile. And then you can use a creature's action to take one of these treasures, and they'll increase your morale by 1. This is handy if you would like to start the battle, gaining extra morale before you start losing creatures. Alright, and then we'll do the orc side, and that'll be the end for the first video. Then we'll actually get started on the battle. So, we have Drogar. I have Gruumsh, however you pronounce that. The creatures you control ignore difficult terrain. Difficult terrain. Now, you'll see on the map these little triangle symbols. This is difficult terrain. This is an obstacle. If I read the rules right, this kind of acts as difficult terrain, but also blocks line of sight. So if you have a creature here and a creature there, you can't shoot. But I don't think these count for difficult terrain according to their special abilities. I could be wrong, but I'm going to play as if it doesn't count. Now, Drogar starts with a morale of 15, so he's already got 1 up on our goblins, and 1 up on our leadership as well. But he starts with 2 less creatures. And his current creatures, we got an orc chieftain. This guy is badass. If you have a creature of level 3 or lower, when you deploy the orc chieftain, you can reveal that hand and increase your leadership by that level of creature. So, if we used him, we could reveal the druid, increase our leadership by 3, and deploy the druid. So that's already free 10 leadership, and he could have 11 leadership by the end of the phase for the deploy. Isn't that sick? So, but let's do that. I'm not rooting for anybody or anything. Yes. Well, we'll get back to the goblins. There was one thing I forgot to mention. After deploying creatures, we have to go and redraw up to our maximum creature hand. So, once we deploy these 2 creatures, we'll have to draw 2 cards from the other deck. Alright, so we need the orc chieftain. That should be this guy, I believe. Orc chieftain. Alright, so we're going to put him right here. Alright, now, orc druid. So his special ability, we reveal him. So we increase the leadership by 3. 1, 2, 3. And we deploy the druid. Where is the druid? Yeah, there we go. Boy, he needs a facial. Alright. So we're going to put him there. So that's the end of that deployment phase. I'm going to go ahead and put his creature back in that pile. Let's go ahead and draw his cards. So we got, if it'll focus, oh my, 100 hit points, level 6, 50 damage. When you deploy this creature, gain 1 morale. Goodness gracious. We'll definitely need him. Oh yeah, we need 1 more creature. Yeah, it looks like just a common soldier, level 1, 20 damage, 10 hit points. He'd pretty much go down in 1 hit. So we'll add that to his pile. Alright, since we're over there, let's go ahead and grab our goblins. How many do we deployed? 2, same as the other one. So, ooh, this looks even better. See, Horn Devil, level 6, 40 damage, 140 hit points, flying. Flying has a special property. I think they can go over and ignore like rough terrain. Reach 2. Creatures 2 spaces away count as adjacent to this creature. As a standard action, make a melee attack. If the target takes damage from this attack, tap it. Ooh. That's pretty nice. There are special order cards that affect tapped creatures. So having an enemy tapped already will be pretty good. Alright, our second one we drew, 80 hit points, level 4 Goblin Wolf Rider. 20 damage. When this creature is destroyed, you can immediately deploy 1 Goblin or 1 Wolf creature of level 3 or lower in the square it occupied. So basically, you kill this guy, you knock off the rider. Or they either kill the wolf or the rider, and you put the other one down. Okay, not too bad, not too bad. Let's see, so we went over their creatures, their orders, their creatures, their orders. My card manipulating skills are awful. Alright, so we have a level 3 Furious Bellow. Tap each enemy creature adjacent to this creature and slide each of those creatures 2 squares. Interesting. Tactical Block. Prevent 30 damage to this creature from one source. Untap this creature. That could definitely be useful. 2 Deflex. Prevent 30 damage. So, alright, so the orc has got a lot of preventative measures. That's interesting. Put this down. So already the orcs have a lot of morale boosters and apparently leadership boosters. And the goblins, well, they got a lot of weird shit. That's all I gotta say about that. Alright, so my cards are all... I'm kind of OCD about this. So we got our goblins deployed, our orcs are deployed, and we are ready for round 1. Goblins versus orcs. So tune in for next video when we actually begin the battle.